Welcome back to Raven Conversations. I'm Joe C. Mandel, State Public Affairs Officer for the Washington National Guard. And today I'm joined by Captain Jaymar Imperial. He's the Assistant Professor of Military Science at Central Washington University. He's a Guardsman, and he's also a Central grad of 2012. Thanks for joining us, Jay.
Thanks for having me, sir.
Hey, so real quick, just kind of some of the background for yourself and your military career.
All right, sir. Background for personal, sir. I was born in the Philippines. I migrated with my mom, my sisters, back here in 1997. It's like 26 years now, I believe, to a little town called Wapato, where my dad and his brothers were farmers. So I grew up in a little small farm town. After high school, I went to Central Washington University, where I got a ROTC scholarship. So I attended that, and then in 2012, I commissioned as a transportation officer with a bachelor's degree in criminal law and justice. I went straight into the National Guard. Luckily, I went there instead of the reserve. I thank Major Wright for that. So after that, my first assignment was with one of the 168 Aviation as a district platoon leader, and then I kind of got moved on there to be like the maintenance officer or maintenance platoon leader. Then I got transferred to the 1161st at that time. Then they got that was a short-lived because they divested like not even 2 months after I arrived there. So I guess I'm probably their bad luck when they got divested. Then I went to 1041st as a PL, spent some PL time again. Then moved to 792nd as an XO. Then did some staff time as a S1 with the 420th Chemical Battalion. In 2018, I was fortunate enough to take command of Delta Company 141 as the FSC commander, and then we deployed with the 303rd late of 2019 in November and came back in June of 2020. From there, kind of went full circle, and now I'm back here at Central Washington University as a APMS. But before then, I kind of had some time with the Homeland Response Force, working ADOS with them. So that was a pretty unique mission as well.
Yeah, as a Central grad, I always love our alma mater at Central as well. I was a class of '08, and a beautiful campus. I know about the ROTC program, obviously, as a officer that came out of that program. But for those that have no clue what ROTC is, can you kind of give us the basics of what it is and the program itself?
So the program itself, sir, it's a Reserve Officer Training Corps. So it's for people that given the opportunity to go to college as well as do some military training. So if you go through ROTC, you get a military science as your minor, but still get to live that college life kind of different from going to West Point. You're not stuck at West Point. You actually get to experience college, experience being an adult, make some adult decisions. So that's the unique part of being an ROTC. And as a ROTC cadet, your freshman year, if you start off as a freshman year, you kind of learn the basic soldier skills of knowing how to put your uniform, customs and courtesy, how to do basic land nav, and all that, the other basic soldier skills that most of our soldiers learn. And then your sophomore year, you're more into developing as a leader, as a team leader now. So you're learning the troop leading procedure. You're kind of learning what an operations order goes, what that entails. And then as your junior is like your most crucial year, because that's when they go to the cadet summer training. It used to be called LDAC when I went back in the day. I don't know if that was as yours as well, sir. Mm-hmm. But that's where they finally get assessed as a squad leader, a platoon sergeant, platoon leader, and all that. And they are assessed on their leadership capabilities and their potential as an Army officer. And then once they complete that 30 plus days summer training at Fort Knox, Kentucky, they will come back their senior year. For the Central program, we treat them like lieutenants. We let them plan all their training plans, kind of decide on where they want to go training, and all this to prepare the juniors, sophomores, and freshmen for the following year.
Yeah. So specifically for guardsmen, right, or anybody interested in the Guard, what are the opportunities when you're looking at an ROTC? I know for myself, I was an SMP cadet, so a simultaneous member program. I had already been in the Guard and decided to go to ROTC. What are those opportunities for someone who might be interested in doing ROTC but just doesn't know enough?
So the benefit of being an SMP, I believe, I wasn't an SMP myself. I was just a straight ROTC scholarship, but I wish I would have went SMP. I feel like there's way more benefit, especially going on the Guard side. I mean, you get to shadow an officer every month as your drill weekend, so you can kind of see, okay, this is how officers interact, this is what they do in some of their training, and way more hands-on training, I believe. Just because ROTC time, they get maybe 6 hours during the week to do some training. It just gives them more of a leg up. And then being in the Guard versus being in a reserve side of the SMP side, you have that benefit of trying to test out all the branches, from combat arms to all the support branches and other things. The reserve, you're kind of limited to just, I think there's only like one company of like a combat arm, and then most of it are service support unit. So I see that as a benefit on developing as a leader. And then obviously what people obviously like, more money. Like I would have loved having more money going to college, just because if you end up being a guardsman, you go to basic AIT, you get that you get the federal benefits that you would normally get as a enlisted, plus the post-secondary grant. That's a big thing that will help. So technically you can go through college with being a guardsman, using those benefits, and then being ROTC SMP. You can get out of college debt-free just because of all this. Because even if you contract non-scholarship with the school, you still get a stipend. So besides from your drill pay that you usually get, you get that as well. So that's more money in your bank. But being even as a SMP cadet doesn't mean that you're stuck to the National Guard. You can still compete for active duty. There's a lot of our cadets that are interested in that, but some of it, they love being the Guard just because of our unique mission of being in the domestic operations side of the house, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I know for myself, I had got the SMP, so I was getting a scholarship, drill pay, stipend, and then, I had a job in college, so I walked out of there with, I think, money in the bank, actually, and no college debt, which was great. One of the questions I think, and it was new to me, right? I didn't know until I finally walked through the process. So let's say you're a kid and we'll use, you're a logistician today, and you're like, hey, I really want to go to college, and you decide to go to ROTC, and you want to switch branches and you want to do something else. How do they select a branch in the Guard side and go to a unit?
So for as long as they're still within like their freshman, sophomore, junior year, which is they can basically select any of those branches. I would try to keep them there for at least a year. Differ from it. Like my recommendation to our cadets: hey, try the combat arms unit, try a support unit, and then try something different, something unique of like that's not a normal brigade combat team or any kind of those, so that they can kind of see what it is. As long as the professor of military science supports it, there's a unit that is willing to take him. It's fairly easy to just switch branches. Since I've been here for 2 years, a little over 2 years now, and there's a lot of cadets that's like, hey, I don't know if this is the branch I want to do, so we switched them to a different unit. A good example is probably Cadet Elliot Zoki. He was with the 176. He's like, I'm not really sure if this is for me. He thought it at first, but then we transferred him to the 303rd Cav, and he's like, oh man, I'm loving it. I'm loving going out to the field kind of thing. So it just depends on the personality of the cadet and what they like to do, and that's what we try to do, is try to get them what they like doing, so that once they commission, they can actually, they know, they have a heads up of like, this is what I want to do and things that I got to look out for.
Yeah, and I think one of the last questions I have, so I was very fortunate when I went through ROTC. I had then Lieutenant Colonel Jay Briggs, who is gone on to work at NGB, and then behind him I had now Colonel Paul Sellers, who works right here on Camp Murray, and they completely understood. Hey, you're a National Guard soldier. Your degree and your civilian job are what's going to matter the most to you, and they allotted me that time to ensure that my degree was taken care of. If I had classes that conflicted with whether ROTC classes or labs, they said, hey, we're going to figure out how to work around that. Is that still the same kind of thing for you guys? If you've got Guard soldiers or reserve soldiers that are like, hey, I need this class to finish my degree, are you guys still pretty flexible to help out with that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we are, and as well as sometimes where when there's conflicting drill schedules with our training, the training for us takes prioritized. So, and some units are very are really good working with us, saying, hey, have the cadet there that can kind of count for their training. Or if we had a training for say October, or this past month, say March, and it wasn't the same time as their drill schedule. Some of the units use that, like, hey, we don't want to take another weekend away from you, so that you can focus on your college degree, and then focus on like what you want to do as a civilian. So it's mainly, a lot of it is like communication between myself, the cadet, the Guard units, and 9 out of 10 times, like the unit is very very supportive of the college cadet, of making sure that their degree is taken care of, and still making sure they don't have a bad year as well. So I see that as a benefit being a Guardsman as well, because right now, like, some of our reserve guys are like, no, they won't count it. I got to go to drill. So now you're taking, say, another weekend away from these kids, and now they only have 2 weekends, but in one of those weekends they're working. So it's funny because one of the now he just commissioned to the reserves. Like, man, sir, I should have listened to you. I should have came to the National Guard, just because I'm not really getting taken care of here, kind of thing. So yeah, it's definitely benefit being the Guard and having those understanding with the unit, with the professors and things like that, sir.
Yeah. I mean, any real closing comments? A kid from Wapato. I went to Easton High School. If anybody knows where Easton is, it's a very small high school in Central Washington. You don't have to come from a big school, it sounds like, to do this stuff. You can go to any ROTC program if you have the desire to be in the Army, be an officer. It sounds like it's a great platform, a great program that you guys you have, and I think it's at every I think major college in Washington has an ROTC program. So.
Yes, sir. UW has one. PLU. Obviously, I'd say Central because we're the best. Eastern has one as well. Wazoo, and all those other schools, all great schools. But any of the universities, and some of the other schools have satellites. So even though they're going to community college, they have satellite programs where they can actually attend ROTC's training to kind of try it out first, and then kind of work with that satellite program as well, sir.
Yeah. No, thanks, Jay, for joining us. If you're interested in ROTC, interested in education benefits, we'll put the information in the comments or in the notes. If you like this video, give us a like. If you're interested in watching more Raven Conversations, subscribe, and let us know if you guys are interested in something else. Thanks again.